The iPad era just ended, and Apple doesn't want you to know about it. 4 tablets launched this year that don't just compete with the iPad Air, they completely destroy it. We're talking about tablets with faster displays, longer battery life, and features Apple charges $299 extra for, all while costing hundreds less. The winner has display technology that makes the iPad Air look outdated, and that's not even the most shocking part. Check this out. One of these tablets costs less than what Apple charges for their basic accessories alone. Before I reveal which tablets are ending Apple's dominance, don't forget to check the links in the description for exclusive deals and current discounts on everything mentioned in this video. Just to be clear, the iPad Air is not a bad tablet. For $599, you get an 11-inch Liquid Retina display with 500 nits of brightness, Apple's M3 chip with 8GB of RAM, up to 10 hours of battery life, and iPadOS with years of guaranteed updates. It's a solid tablet, but is it the best value? This first tablet might say otherwise. First up, we have the Samsung Galaxy Tab A9 Plus. This thing is $209. That's not a typo. While Apple wants $599 for the iPad Air, Samsung said, hold my beer, and quietly released this 11-inch tablet for basically pocket change. Let's talk specs because they're actually pretty impressive. You're getting an 11-inch TFT LCD display with a 90Hz refresh rate. That's already smoother than the iPad Air's 60Hz screen. It's powered by a Snapdragon 6955G processor with up to 8GB of RAM and up to 256GB of storage. Plus, you can expand it with a microSD card up to 1TB. On the software side, this runs Android 15 with Samsung's One UI 7. And here's the good news. Samsung has actually become really good with updates. You're looking at around 4 years of security updates, which is pretty solid for a budget tablet. The cameras are decent too. 8MP rear camera with autofocus and a 5MP front camera. But here's where it gets interesting. The battery is a massive 7,040 mAh that Samsung claims gives you up to 14 hours of usage. That's potentially 4 hours longer than the iPad Air. Who is this for? If you're a student on a tight budget, or have a family who needs a shared tablet, or you just want a big screen for streaming Netflix and browsing social media without breaking the bank, this is perfect for you. The benefits here are obvious. You're saving almost $400 compared to the iPad Air, getting a larger screen with a higher refresh rate, and you can expand the storage for like $20 with a microSD card. Plus, it has quad speakers and a headphone jack, something Apple removed years ago. And One UI 7 is actually really nice to use. Here's what they don't tell you though. The display, while big and smooth, only has a 1920 by 1200 resolution, so it's not as sharp as the iPad Air. The Snapdragon 695 is decent for everyday tasks, but don't expect to run the most demanding games at high settings. And while Samsung's update policy has improved, you're still not getting the same long-term support as an iPad. But what if you want something with a bit more intelligence? Enter the Google Pixel tablet at $399. Now, this is where things get interesting because Google didn't just make a tablet. They made a tablet that transforms into something completely different. This runs on Google's Tensor G2 chip, the same processor that's in the Pixel 7 phone, with 8GB of RAM and up to 256GB of storage. The display is a 10.95-inch LCD with 2560 by 1600 resolution and 500 nits of brightness, matching the iPad Air's brightness exactly. But here's the magic. It comes with a charging speaker dock that turns this into a smart home hub when you're not using it. On the software front, this is where the Pixel tablet really shines. It runs pure Android, currently Android 14, with guaranteed updates directly from Google. We're talking about 3 years of OS updates and 5 years of security updates, which is actually better than most Android tablets. No bloatware, no custom skins, just clean Android the way Google intended. The cameras are solid, 8MP rear and 8MP ultra-wide front camera. The battery is 7,020 mAh, giving you around 12 hours of usage, but here's the catch. There's no cellular option available, it's Wi-Fi only. This tablet is perfect if you're an Android user who wants the purest Google experience, a smart home enthusiast, or someone who loves Google's AI-powered photo editing features. The benefits are pretty unique. When docked, it becomes a Nest Hub that can control your smart home, show your photos, and play music with surprisingly good speakers. When undocked, you get the cleanest Android experience possible with guaranteed updates, excellent photo editing capabilities with Magic Eraser, and Google's AI Magic for things like live translate. The downside? The performance is just okay. The Tensor G2 isn't slow, but it's not blazing fast either. The display is stuck at 60 Hz, which feels dated in 2025 when even budget tablets have higher refresh rates. And if you're not into the Google ecosystem or smart home stuff, you're paying for features you might not use. Plus, no cellular option means you're stuck with Wi-Fi only. But maybe you're thinking, I need something more productivity focused. Well, have I got a deal for you? The Lenovo IdeaTab Pro at $290 is honestly one of the best deals in tech right now. But here's something that will shock you. While Apple charges $129 for the Apple Pencil and $299 for the Magic Keyboard, Lenovo throws everything in the box for $290 total. You get a massive 12.7-inch IPS LCD display with 2944 by 1840 resolution. That's actually higher resolution than the iPad Air, and a 144 Hz refresh rate. That's more than double the smoothness of the iPad Air's 60 Hz screen. It's powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 83300 processor with up to 12 GB of RAM and 256 GB of UFS 4.0 storage, and they include a pressure-sensitive stylus and a 45-watt fast charger in the box. Software-wise, this runs Android 14 out of the box, and Lenovo promises up to 2 major Android upgrades, so you should get Android 15 and 16, plus several years of security updates. It's not as long-term as Google or Samsung, but it's pretty standard for the price range. The cameras are decent, 13-megapixel rear with LED flash and 8-megapixel front, but the real star is that 10,200 mAh battery with 45-watt fast charging. We're talking about going from dead to full in about 90 minutes, while the iPad Air takes over 3 hours. This is a student's dream tablet, perfect for digital artists on a budget and ideal for anyone who wants a complete productivity setup without buying a bunch of accessories. The value is incredible. You get everything you need right out of the box. The stylus works great for note-taking and drawing, the 144 Hz display makes everything feel smooth, and those JBL quad speakers with high-res audio support sound surprisingly good. Plus, there's even a fingerprint sensor built into the power button. Here's what Lenovo doesn't advertise though. The display, while large and smooth, only hits 400 nits of brightness, so outdoor visibility isn't great. There's no cellular option, it's Wi-Fi only. The update policy isn't as generous as Google's or Samsung's, and while the MediaTek Dimensity 8330 is solid for productivity, it's not going to match the raw power of Apple's M3 chip for intensive tasks. Alright, if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe for more honest weekly tech reviews of the latest gadgets that make your life easier. Now, I want you not to berate me for what I'm about to tell you next. What if, for just $50 more than the iPad Air, you could get something that's much, much better? We're getting to the spicy stuff now. The OnePlus Pad 3 costs $650. That's only $50 more than the iPad Air, but the specs are absolutely insane. We're talking about a massive 13.2-inch LTPS LCD display with 3392 by 2400 resolution and a 144 Hz refresh rate. That's more than double the smoothness of the iPad Air's 60 Hz screen, and it can hit 900 nits of brightness in high brightness mode. It's powered by the brand new Snapdragon 8 Elite processor, literally the fastest mobile chip you can get right now, with 12 GB of LPDDR5X RAM and 256 GB of UFS 4.0 storage. On the software side, this runs Android 15 with OnePlus's Oxygen OS 15, and OnePlus has really stepped up their update game. You're getting 3 major Android updates and 6 years years of bi-monthly security updates. That's actually more security support than the iPad Air gets. The cameras are solid, 13 megapixel rear with electronic image stabilization and 8 megapixel front. But here's where it gets crazy. This thing has an 8-speaker system with 4 woofers and 4 tweeters, a 12,140 mAh battery, that's the biggest battery in this comparison, and 80-watt fast charging. That'll go from 0 to 100% in about 90 minutes.
Who is this for? This is for power users who want the absolute best specs, mobile gamers who want that 144Hz smoothness, content creators who need a large canvas, and anyone who wants to future-proof their tablet purchase. This thing is honestly ridiculous. That 144Hz display makes everything feel incredibly smooth. The Snapdragon 8 Elite crushes any mobile game you throw at it. The massive screen is perfect for productivity and media consumption, and the speaker system actually sounds better than most laptops. Plus, that 80-watt charging is insanely fast, and Oxygen OS 15 is clean and feature-rich. But here's the reality check. It's still $50 more than the iPad Air, so it's not exactly a budget option. The size might be too big for some people. This is definitely a two-handed tablet at 675 grams. There's no cellular option, so you're stuck with Wi-Fi only, and while Android tablets have gotten way better, you still don't have access to some iPad exclusive apps like Procreate. Alright, let's cut through the noise. If you're on a tight budget and want maximum screen for minimum money, the Samsung Galaxy Tab A9 Plus at $209 is unbeatable. You get 90Hz smoothness, expandable storage, and a headphone jack for less than half an iPad's price. If you're deep in Google's ecosystem, the Pixel tablet at $399 offers something unique with its Smart Hub functionality, though you're stuck with 60Hz and no cellular. For students or creatives, the Lenovo Idea Tab Pro at $290 is honestly a steal. Huge 144Hz display, included stylus, fast charging, everything you need in the box. And if you want the absolute best specs without paying Apple prices, the OnePlus Pad 3 at $650 legitimately outperforms the iPad Air in almost every way. Bigger screen, faster refresh rate, more RAM, faster charging. Is there another tablet I missed that should have been on the list? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if this video helped you in any way, don't forget to hit like, maybe give it a hype, and then subscribe for more honest tech reviews of the latest gadgets that matter to you the most. And watch this next video.